Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Enough Said Radio. Today is Monday, February 6, 2023. I am your host, Jovi.
I'm your host, Tree.
And I'm your host, Miss Barbara Storm 110, aka Latoya Justice Shari.
Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Tonight we have a great show. I'm super excited. I'm like a geek right now. I'm like fangirling hard right now. I don't even know the words to say. Like, I have a script in front of me, and I'm just like, Jovi, you're just gonna mess that all up. This is a guest I've been dying to have. Like, it's been in the making. We've rescheduled, but here we are now. It's so dope. I'm like, I just love. Without further ado, we have singer-songwriter Lisa Bello here with us today.
Yay!
How are you doing?
Hi, Lisa.
I am. My radio voice would be I'm doing wonderful, but my real life voice would be I'm tired of shit. So,
So, like, I'm that person that slides in the DMs because I have no holds, and this came in the making of just sliding in a message and be like, hey, would you like to be on my podcast? And she was like, yeah, I'm down, with no like hesitation. So I'm forever like, this is very humbling, and I'm forever grateful for this. Like, I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts when people just send you messages like out the blue? Like, do you react to each and every one, or are you just like selective on who you kind of react to start off the conversation?
I have an intern that works with me from Emerson College, and they're not always with me, but there are days where they have my account. They don't currently, but they have my account for a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. And I basically will tell them to move to my general inbox things that you think are opportunities, but I also tell them to move women. If women are asking me questions or features or collabs, I move them to my general inbox. It's no disrespect to men, but filtering the men, whether they're like sending me something explicit or being ignorant or asking for a feature, it's too overwhelming. So I'm like, can you leave them in the regular one? She can attend to them, and then I attend to the opportunities. I do get overwhelmed, but I think I can tell normally in like the first few sentences if somebody's approach to me. One, whether or not they're for real, and two, whether or not I even want to continue working with them. Because there's plenty of times I get messages that just the person's approach, I immediately send them to my email. And then when they're in my email, I can have me or my manager kind of feel them out more. But if I feel like you're warm right away, we'll start kikiing, and he'll be like, can you chill and wait until we figure out your schedule? And I'm like, okay.
That's dope. And so for the people that don't know, just give us a little bit of tidbit of like Lisa Bello, where this all started, where all the singing and making music. Because I feel like when I go onto your, like, I'm solely on Instagram, so when I see it, it seems like you come from like just a musical background in general, like with your dad, your brother. It's just like everybody's in the vibe. I'm like, that's so dope. I wish I had that, because everyone's so musical. But like, where did it all start? Like,
Instagram's so great because I got to delete like from 10 years ago, so you can only see like the past 5. But you would still see that I've always done music. I was a Boston public school teacher for over 12 years, but I've always done music at the same time. So for me, I've been singing not really young, because my brother's a phenomenal singer. That was intimidating. So I would sing like in my room, but I never did shows or anything until I was like 15 years old. My brother did the Apollo in New York, and one of his background singers couldn't make it, so I got to stand on stage and don't like applaud me because I wasn't even singing. I was like mouthing the words to look like a background singer. I don't think I said it. There was nothing that came out of my mouth because I was so scared. But because of him and my dad had a record deal in the 70s. Like, my dad was the real deal, still is the real deal. It's always been in me. And when I was balancing music and singing, I just could not do both and raise a child by myself. So like 5 years ago, I just said, we're just going to do one thing, and that was music. So I've been for 5 years solidly only doing singing and songwriting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really dope. That's really dope.
Thank you.
And so when you go on tour, when you perform, you have your own band that
I do.
you travel with. And how did you all get together, and how did that start?
So the cool part about the band is if you watch my videos, you'll see like a rotating 15 bandmates. Because one thing about me is, in the music business, like shows on the road don't make you that much money. The merch makes you money. If you're opening for people, definitely, but like putting on your own indie tour, you're not really making money, you're hoping to break even. I'm an independent artist. So one thing about me is if my boys get another opportunity, they need to do that. And then I have the next guitarist of mine. So like one of my bass players, his name is Keith, and he's actually the musician, he's her bass player. And so years ago, he was on my circuit playing with me. He got the call up. One of my drummers is her drummer, and then a keyboardist that I didn't use, but his name is Alonso. Those three are now with her. They've been with her for years. That's happened with my guitarist Andres. He's now in Puerto Rico with like one of their famous musicians. So it really was one of those things where Andres can't make it. He calls up his boy that I've never met. His boy comes, sits in the session. He learns from Andres. And now that kid who Chris, my current guitarist, is like family. So it's like an interchangeable group, I'd say, of like 10, 15 musicians. And some of them have since moved away. So when I go to like, not Hawaii, I wish, but they're in like Atlanta. I have 2 musicians in Atlanta. So I won't bring 2 of my guys from Boston when I go there. I go to Atlanta and those 2 dudes will step up and play. It's just kind of the way the business goes. I don't think people talk about it much, but a lot of people can't cohesively keep the same crew, so you try to keep as close to that as you can. But it doesn't always work out with the same guys,
Right. I always wondered about that, like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you gotta follow your passion, and that's so cool of you to be like, hey, like, I see you got a passion. Yeah, you gotta do it. Because you would do the same thing. You did it when you were a teacher. You were like, listen, I love y'all kids, but I gotta go. I recently did the same thing at the Boys and Girls Club. I'm a substitute teacher, and I work I used to work at the Boys and Girls Club. And I was like, look, I love you. You're so cute when you snot on me. But I got to go, baby, because I have passion. I have drive, and I got stuff to do. But I'm still going, though. It is.
It's hard.
And it hurts your heart, because you love them kids.
100%.
Yes. But you gotta live your dreams. I got 2 kids of my own, and I want them to see mom doing her thing, and that's what I respect about your story. Like, you're doing your thing. You're like, hey, I gotta take care of the baby, but I'm gonna still do this thing right here.
I'm still gonna do. That's real, because I think like, again, my dad was a musician. He also had a 9 to 5, but like he still came from a time where it just was looked down upon if you weren't one as the man, the breadwinner. Obviously our generation, thank God, is different. Women can work and they can bring home bread. But like, because of him always saying to me, do what you want, just go all the way. Like, don't half-ass something. If you're gonna quit, then do the other thing just as much, 100%. Because like you said, for your kids, like, I just want my son to know that even though school pushes the college and they push this and they push that, you can go another route. As long as you go your hardest, if you fail, you fail. You gave it everything. I know that's cliche, but like, that's what I'm doing now. Like, I go on tour, I bring him with me. He misses school, I'm a teacher, I tutor him. Like, it happens to, coincide. I just want him to see the world is bigger than the classroom and what some of these classrooms teach them. It is, that's why I love TikTok and these things, as annoying as it is. I'm like, yes, you can be a gamer. Like, that's what you want to do.
Right.
You want to be Miss Rachel, put overalls on, and teach little kids to make millions. Do it.
Yes. Yes.
So I read somewhere is that you went to school, you went to college, but did you also want to go into the military or something like that, and then that wasn't going to work out, or you found your passion in music?
So high school, I went to a Boston public school. I went to Boston public schools my whole life, but when I was in 9th grade, I just was not hacking it at the school. And I also was an athlete, and in my family, you had to make money to go to college, so I wanted to get a scholarship. And I was really good at ice hockey. My school didn't have it, so I was a behavioral problem with bad grades, and I could play sports, but it didn't work out. So my parents sent me to a private school, all girls. So I wouldn't use my hands, I wouldn't be fighting, I would like be good, do sports, whatever. But my grades were still so low, and when I was a junior and I was taking my SATs, my guidance counselor sat me down and she's like, look, I think the Army is probably the only thing that's really going to be in your future. And I took a major offense to it back then, but honestly, it would have been better than college at that point in my life because I just was struggling. I had an unfound learning disability that I finally figured out once I was in college. And I very much did take offense though then because I felt like she was saying you're dumb, kick rocks.
Right, I would feel kind of the same way.
Military.
Yeah.
So I was doing music. I still was doing it a little bit. Like again, my brother was on the road. Like he was signed to DreamWorks. Like I knew that was attainable, but I was a tomboy. Like I was like, cool, that can wait. I want to play sports. So I was like, that's it. Like I'm done. I'm gonna go to the Army. And that summer, I did like some sort of tournament because I'm from the inner city, but there were all these things on the suburbs that they had I didn't know about. Some coach came. He's like, come to this tournament. So it was right into my senior year. It was like the beginning of it. I was in a tournament and I played my ass off. And this coach came and he's like, I want you to come to college and play ball. Like I don't care what your score is. We don't even count. We don't even go by that. Like I'll get you a tutor. So I ended up going and kind of forgetting about music for like the first 2 years, other than I sang the anthem at every damn college game college ever had. Like I recorded it and they like a CD MP3 thing, and well, MP3s weren't even around. Why did my age and my old ass? It had to be a CD, but they still use that today.
Wow.
I went to a game for like a reunion. And I was like,
That's neat.
that girl sounds just like me.
Wait a minute.
I was like, where's my residuals? So yeah, I thought it was Army or nothing. And then when I was in college, I was like, sports or nothing. But as a woman, like what is their sports level after college? There's really not much. We're not making money. There's no NBA money. It's WNBA. Like there's no, you know what I mean?
When they go overseas and it's like not the same.
Right.
It's not. And for ice hockey, I was getting too many concussions, and so all these things are happening, and I'm like,
What?
all right, I gotta find something else.
Oh my
like,
god.
Yes, she was going hard in the
You were.
hard.
Yes.
Wow.
Like I'm listening to your story and I'm like, fudges. Like first of all, you from up top. To me, I don't feel like any female from up top is a tomboy, because like every female from up top wears sweatpants, kicks, boots, and all that good stuff. Like I'm from New Jersey, and so for me it was just a regular day, like whatever, huh?
That's our routine, our uniform.
Yeah, like and like when you go someplace else, it's like, oh, you're a tomboy. I'm like, what? What's a tomboy? Like for real. And the learning disability thing, man, I was just talking about that to Tree yesterday. I was just talking about it makes it harder for you to do everything, and people do look at you differently. And when you know you have a learning disability and somebody says something to you, like, wait a minute, you just called me dumb. Like I can't help. I can't help being who I am. It's just how I am. Girl, we might be cousins.
On my mama's side, I mean, it could be.
We might be, because I have a little, something in me. I don't know. What you got in you, girl? Because we might got the same thing.
I mean, you could be Italian. I don't know. Maybe.
I could. You right there. You see that right there?
I see it. That side of your face.
There it goes.
Okay, Miss Marble Storm. So with all of that, and then you getting into the music, because first of all, I just love your style. And yes. I was telling Jovi a couple days ago, I was telling her that you have a sound like early Erykah Badu when she would do the live sessions, but you have that rasp too that's like adds a little flavor in there. And
Thank you.
Yes, I love it. So what do you think your style is, and how did you find that? And would you want to do like
Tree.
Would you want to do any other genres of music too?
That's a great question. Ironically, I've talked like this since I was like 12 years old. Oh, so teachers used to say I have a husky voice, which again I used to think was wrong. I like that. That's like I got a dog in me. And my favorite, because I'm always like, yo, even though MTV Behind the Music is like not really a thing, I still need one to be done on me, because when I went to this new school, the all-girls school, I didn't make the choir. It's like my favorite story to tell. The lady told me that I sang like a goat because vibrato, and I sang like a And I was like, back then I didn't know the word GOAT, like greatest of all time, but my friend was like, maybe she means you're great. And I was like, I really don't think so. I think she means like bad, which is what she meant. She meant I was terrible because everyone else sang straight. So when you talk about style, like I always sung like this. My dad, Stevie Wonder's on my hand. My dad grew us up immersed in Stevie Wonder and Motown. And because of that, I think I've always just had R&B and soul in me. But ironically, when I walk into a place because of how I look, most people, black or white, assume that I'm going to sing rock.
Right.
Like they're like,
where's the headbang? Let's go.
What's she going to do? So when you say like, I think my style's in me, but I think that now that I'm older, I kind of like singing. Like, I don't even like to listen to house music, but I like singing it. Because it's
girl,
what?
I don't see you. I don't see you as a rock and roll singer. Dead ass, like see you like chilling with all the urban girls, all races. Like, like I ain't got no weave, but bitch, I got a weave.
I just took mine out. That's not my hair short again.
Exactly. I see it because I guess because I'm from Jersey and I lived in different areas of Jersey. I seen a bunch of you. Like I would literally call you. I would be like Keisha from round the way, light skinned Keisha. You mean Italian girl? No, light skinned Keisha from round the way. She call herself Lisa, but it's really Keisha. Okay,
light skinned Keisha. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
LSK. But you know what? You say that like this is important. I'm glad that you said that. Like sometimes I come across artists, and just to bring up the race thing, like I come across white artists that are not. I don't care where they're from, but they're not ingrained in the culture of like soul music or in what we used to classify as an urban neighborhood, or they're not from the city. And sometimes I see them singing and I'm like, do I look like that? And my friends are like, no. I'm like, but if we both go to Atlanta, let's say, and no one knows us, you have to have so much respect for the culture outwardly right away so that people understand you're not, that's how you separate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I appreciate you saying it. I also know that like, there's people that could think I'm appropriating a culture until they sit with me or like see who I'm with or like see where I'm from. So I always tread lightly because I know when I say R&B is my style, I know we didn't create it. So it's like R&B is my style because my father exposed me, and all of his friends were people of color. So I've been around it, but I still am adjacent.
But you're Italian though.
I am.
But technically, back in the day now, let's be honest, they used to call Italians colored.
Listen, I'm still Caucasian though, but yes.
but still, like my thing is, I see it in you. I see you grew up with it. It's kind of when I see somebody who got it in them, I can't say you're appropriating because you grew up like that. It's like saying that Mowgli wasn't a wolf. Like he grew up like that. He thought he was dead ass a wolf. Like you weren't gonna tell him he wasn't.
He's a wolf.
Yeah, exactly. And I see it in you, and that's why I could never say because I was like, I like this little white girl. I like her.
Light skin Keisha.
Light skin Keisha. I said I like her. I was like, thank you, Joby. Joby be putting me on some bangers. You feel me? I can trust Joby. Like Joby's jam gonna pick it out every time. Like that one right there.
Yep.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you got it.
Yes, you do. I can't stop listening to your songs too.
Yes, I really like the live album. That is like my favorite. Yes. I just love it. And then I can't every time. What's that one song that I can't stop putting on repeat?
I'll be like washing dishes, doing the laundry, in the shower, and I'm just like, humming your song or singing.
Trying is my favorite too. Trying, like, it speaks to me. It speaks to me. I don't know why, but like, is the first. When you hit that first note, it's just like I can feel it, and then the live band just kind of just.
See, I love live music. I love that.
Yes.
So how did you decide like this is what you this album for like a live music? Did you guys plan that out or did it just happen?
The thing that's so tough is that I often say to people like you can hear my music, and I think for me I do think my voice live is better than on an album, and I'm saying that with the utmost confidence because I do think some people have an album, then you go to their concert and you're like, damn, and it's disappointing because they're not that person. For me, I think that my albums do not translate how dynamic of a performer I am live. So like forever I've been saying I want to do a live album so you can see no filters, like this is what we do for everyone, the guitarist, the drummer, like nothing's tweaked.
Yes.
You know, my piano player Mike. So it's been in the works. I've known Mike for like maybe 13 years. We've probably been talking about it for 10. Every time we perform, we're like, gotta record that cover, gotta do this. So the live album was cool because those are songs we already done. One was from one of my old albums, one was from a newer album, 2 were from my album with him. Like, we just took some of our favorite songs of ours and said, we're gonna make an arrangement. We only had 2 weeks to arrange it. So the musicians had 2 weeks to learn it. The background singers had 2 weeks to learn it. One of the background singers Mike had never met. She had been my friend forever. We ended up taking her on the road. Like, it was a very cool, cohesive thing that didn't help that, like, the other background singer I'd never met. And she never, and they were like, here's the words, like that type of shit. So it was, you talk about organic, like, it wasn't even that rehearsed. And the day of was just, and we were filming it with a live audience. Like, it was a lot of pressure. But for me and Mike on piano, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wholeheartedly feel like that's one of my best pieces of work, because we didn't have to overthink it.
Right, it just came naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can feel it, you guys like enjoy each other. Like, you know how bands form together, but the dynamic is just like all over the place. It just seemed like, it was just like, we're just walking out. This is just like, we're just doing our thing.
Yeah, like you've been working together for so long and it's a family. And that's what's so cool about musicians though. Like, if you really know and that's your passion, you guys can just get together and just do it, you know?
Yeah.
It's
because you get in sync. Yeah,
yes,
right.
It's insane.
Exactly. I love it. I wish we had that ability.
You guys have it here.
We vibing, right? I got some questions.
Okay, Toya.
I got some questions.
Go ahead.
Right here.
Tell me about this song, Temp Service, girl. This Temp Service, you know, you was doing your thing. You was like, hey, let me call in. Monday, you on call. Tuesday, you not. So just know. Wednesday, we might be able to put you in on the schedule.
I mean, if you're free that day.
If you're free. Because if you ain't,
On to the next.
On to the next. Rolodex. You know, what inspired that song? Because I was like, damn, this girl just keeping it real. She just no filters.
It was like, it actually was inspired by a man when I thought that I wanted something long term. I didn't mention that to him, but I was just in my little bag because, like, I've literally been single for like 5 years. Like, it's, you know, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah.
And I remember me not voicing what I wanted, but it was very early. And I just remember one point he's like, yeah, like, I want to be able to like do what I want on a Sunday, and then like the next couple of days, like maybe take out somebody else. He was saying this to me, and I was like, oh, same. No, same. I was like, same. Let me see. Hold on. She was free like Wednesday. Like,
Right.
I went right into the studio and I was like, I'm writing a song about this shit. Like that, and I was basically like, okay, this love is temporary. That's why at the end I'm like, this love is temporary, only for a minute, because that's what it feels like the world is looking for. Not everybody. But I wrote that song almost 2 years ago, and even now, I'm like, there's still so many people that are like, I really don't want to catch feelings. They're forcing themselves to like not. So the song is cute and it's funny. It's not fully how I want to be, but it really resonated. So many of my friends were like, word, I like literally like to date 4 or 5 different men a week. And I'm like, I love y'all. I don't have the energy. I can't remember people's names.
Too much to keep up with.
Yeah, what's your favorite color? I don't know. I don't even know your name. Like, so it was fun. And like, I got approached by somebody that works for Bumble. And I always joked, I was like, this would be a great song for Bumble. So that fell through. However, there may be something in the works for that song along the line of a dating app, because that's the world we're living in right now that I don't want to live in, but that's the world we're living in. So it's cute and it's funny, but when I'm live, I'm like, I really don't want to see a different man on Sunday. I want to see you again.
Yes. I mean, I was saying it in a joking way, but I resonate. Like, when you get hurt, sometimes you shut down, you be like, bump it. I'm just going to be hard and act like I just want to be with other people. Yeah. But really, you just want to be with one person. That's just really what it be. So I was like, yes, I understand where he was coming from with that story. I just had to ask though, because I was like, girl, you laying out some tea for everybody to know.
On the table.
On the table.
Yeah,
On
and
the
then
table.
with the songs, then is that your lyrics? Is it based on your experiences, like what you've been going through?
It's a good mix. I'll tell you this, I never make it up. Like none of my songs are ever made up. If anything, they might be my friend's stories. Or I've probably only done one song that's like me hearing it on a train. I can't even think of what one. No, that's not from that. That was one of my friend's ex-girlfriends. So no, it's honestly always somebody I know. Like the song Kill Bill, which is on my self-titled album. There's a multiple stack of friends that I've had in my life that are with a man or a woman that constantly just like do some crazy shit, like don't show pictures of them on the internet. I know people are gonna say it's not crazy. I don't care. It's crazy if you've been together for that long. Like don't acknowledge them. Don't do all these things, and it's over and over and over again. And they would vent to me, and I would give them all this advice, and the next day they'd be like, "Oh, I gotta go. I'm going on a date with so and so again." It would just be so constant that I'm like, "Nah, this dude gotta die." And I don't mean literally, but like the idea of this man or this woman gotta go, or I'm not sticking around. And I love my friends. Obviously, like my closest friends, I wouldn't do that to, but the burden of that just became so heavy that I'm like, nah, you are literally gonna call me to complain about this person and then hang with them tomorrow.
We were just talking about that
We were just talking
yesterday.
about that yesterday. I was like emotional
thinking about
dumping,
this.
like energy.
That's probably why I was singing Kill Bill all day yesterday.
Listen,
Yes.
Sister just made one about killing her ex, but that has nothing to do with it. But still,
Right.
like,
Just say that. You need to put this on as a PSA, just right here, like for real. Come on, get it together like a puzzle.
and we
Come on.
need our friends to like push us on that, because I've been in that zone, like definitely in my early 20s, but I think we are in such a time of like women empowerment more than ever, because women really don't like, we are just in this bag. And even though we say we're not insecure and we have our little insecure days, we have more reasons to be less insecure. And it's like, when it comes to relationships, yeah, it's hard as hell out here, but I would rather be out here independent and alone than stuck with somebody that doesn't appreciate me or continues to do the same cycle every day. And I think it's a much healthier space now to be single than it ever was. It's almost cool to be single. I know I shouldn't say that, fuck Valentine's Day, but it does feel like it's okay to be alone, and once people can realize that, and that's why I wrote that song, and people weren't happy, but it was necessary. It's one of my favorites. So it's always about something, you can always be like, is it about you? Is it not? Because you never know, but it's somewhere in here.
Exactly.
Maybe there.
Exactly.
Right.
Speaking of songs, just real quick, girl. I just want to say how you killed All I Want for My Birthday. You turned it into something that I didn't know. I didn't know 2 Chainz was like, "Yay, man, we gonna turn it into that." I said, "This bitch is a what? She's doing shit." I said, "She turned it into something." I said,
You went that far back on YouTube?
Baby,
You went,
I went all the way back. I went all the way back. I went back, forth, and forth with a leap. Yeah, baby.
a long time ago.
Because like you really is the shit. Like you really is the shit. And I had to see the shit in the making. Like I had to see where like it started, where you just was like, yes, I had to see it in the making. I had to see where you started, because that's so inspiring. Like most people, like they just come out of nowhere and you don't know where they come from. It's like boom. But you was like, I'm really
I didn't come out of nowhere.
I know, I'm saying you was grinding. You was all my life Nipsey hustling it.
Literally,
said,
marathon
yes,
continues.
do it. Yes. I respect that so much.
Thank
I
you.
respect it. Because this was 11 ago. I literally looked at the years. I said it was 11 years.
Wow.
And she's still here.
And I'm still 19.
Still here.
Oh, hey. Just got a couple more tattoos. Couple more.
How many tattoos do
Exactly.
you have? Have you kept count?
Toby, I have no idea. My tattoo artist says I'm about 87% tattooed, my body.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's dope.
more percentages now than it is numbers.
Numbers.
What's
So
your
many.
favorite tattoo?
People always say, I think my son's tattoo is wonderful, but it's not one of my favorites. My favorites is my first car, which was like a hoopty.
Ah.
It's a Grand Marquis, and I got it tattooed on me because it was $500, and it worked for like a few months. But it was like the best thing ever.
$500. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. That's dope.
Gotta tattoo the hoopty. That needs to be the first one.
I don't do like what other people have tattooed. I tattoo things like my car.
That's good. My sister, she's almost covered too. She got sleeves and her legs is covered now. So I only have one. I have one little one on my foot.
That's still something. Your foot is horrible. I also have my friend. His he brought a tattoo artist from Maui who put this on my finger.
Oh, the
At
tribe.
a tattoo convention, yeah. Because I was like, he's like, you don't have any space, and I was like, I know. He's like, I could do a finger banger, and I was like, okay, never heard it be called that, but finger banger. You know. And he put that on, and I was like, I have to get to Hawaii to see him and like get an official. Well, I don't have any space except for my butt cheeks, but an official piece.
There you go.
The more you know.
The more
Right.
you know. What is your least favorite one? If I can ask.
Good question. So on my left ankle, when I was 15, I got a tattoo that says "by any means necessary," which is obviously a Malcolm quote. And it was done so small and probably like I infected. I had to get it covered. And when I went to get it covered at 18, they were just like, instead of trying to do something nice, they were like, we need to put some black leaves. So I have like just these awful black leaves around, which could have still been a cool Malcolm tattoo that would be really old right now, but like it was just so bad. And I'm not gonna cover it though, because I'm not one of those people. I'm not lazy or nothing. Like you, this is what it.
Oh, okay.
I look like I went to jail and I want to go back, and it is what it is.
So which number is bigger, 5011 times or elemental P times? Because you said it a lot in your content. Which number is bigger?
So elemental P times is really like 2611 times. So 5011 times is that's bigger.
Okay, girl. I'm gonna know that when I tell my kids 5011 times
or elemental P.
Or
Toy, you're freezing up.
I know you're freezing, girl. You're just.
And I'm freezing. So.
Why? This sucks.
Oh, you're good
So
now.
like, yeah, you're good now. Is it hard though? Like, because I see you doing your thing. You always have your son, which is so dope. I just like that you just like it's just like we're just chilling, we're friends, we're hanging out. It's just like it's such a cool vibe. Like, is there any moments where you, like, as a mom, like you feel like maybe I should step back from certain things just to spend time like with my son, or do certain things like step back from music a little bit, or any guilt in any way at all at some point?
Every day I wake up, I have guilt. Like it's just, I think it's like an ingrained mom thing that like anytime you choose for self, like the thing I more have guilt about is not working, because I am very fortunate to have my mom and dad alive and watching him. Like he loves them, I swear, equally as me. Like he wants to go hang with them all the time. When I have gigs, he's with them, and my gigs are almost always when he's asleep, or if they're on the road, he comes with me, and my sister or my sitter come with me and they watch him in the hotel room. So I don't feel like that stuff takes away. My guilt comes when I have a night off and I'm like, I want to go be a human that's not Lisa Bello. I just want to be a woman and go out, and I won't do it. Like Thursday night was Galentine's night. It was amazing. I sang. But what you don't see is that I left mad early. Like I had a great time, but I took all my pictures and videos and then ran home to make sure I was there before he went to bed. You know, because then I was like, why am I still here? I'm not making money anymore.
Right.
I'm not doing anything for him. That's really the guilt. It's like taking time for self, and that's not good guilt, you know. I openly have a therapist. I love therapy, and it's one thing we talk about, because if I don't fill my cup, I cannot fill his cup. So it's like music pays the bills and does make me really happy, but sometimes I just want to be myself and not the person on stage. And yeah, I feel guilty as hell. I'm working through it though.
Oh, I love it though. It's you got this.
Thank you.
I'm just sitting here in awe, and I'm like, dang, this.
I know. I'm just like,
we're talking to Lisa Bello right now.
I'm
like,
and I'm just like,
what am I
just
doing?
maneuvering and navigating through it, because I would be a hot mess. I would be like, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, you're out here doing your thing, and of course, like, perception with social media can just, you're doing your thing, but I'm sure there are times where you're like, I really don't want to be doing this. I want to be home right now. But I know it's a situation. It pays, like you said, pays the bills, but it's something that you love. So that's dope too.
It is, and I think I'm at the point where like, people I think have caught on to this, but like, I'm writing music for other people as my money maker. Like that's where the major money comes from, and I can do that. Like after I hang up with you guys, I check on my son. I'll sit in the room next to him and I will write songs because I have like a big board of who I gotta write songs for. People all over the country, sometimes in other countries. That stuff is why I can then say no to certain night gigs. You know what I mean? So like while he's at school, if I bang out 6 songs, or I'm also a voiceover artist, if I get my voiceover stuff done, I write for movies. Like I do so many hats, wear so many hats, so that eventually I can just do one show a month. So there are nights that I am out that I'm like, I wish I didn't have to do this, but for the most part, I'm now at the point in my career where I can be like, I'm not gonna do that. It's not worth it for me to leave the house for 6 hours away from my kid.
Wow, I didn't realize you were doing so much. So how do you keep track and organized? I mean, it seems like you have a team, you have your manager that helps you. Like, how do you, I would be like.
Oh no, if you know me like in person, I'm a chaotic mess. And I normally, because of my ADD, I talk like a mile a minute. So if I'm ever around my friends, they always will be like, I'm gonna leave, so you go talk to your son about it. I voice memo myself. I have like 10 voice memos a day. And don't think I have an organized board. Like I have a big whiteboard, and then I also have notes, and then I have napkins, and so it's beautiful chaos that works for me. But if you came into my house, you would be like, what does this mean? I try to do like, I have a tablet, I have a phone, I have a business phone. My phone I try to keep literally just for my friends. My business phone just for business. And my tablet is just for my voiceovers and my private gig hiring. So it's like, that's my little organization. But yeah, it's insane how much I do. They call me that Miss Never Can Sit Still.
Tree.
Yeah, I'm having that issue.
It works. Maybe it's how your brain functions. I mean, it makes me happy when I'm sitting still. I'm like,
yeah, because she gets like up all hours of the night just texting, and we're like, girl, go to sleep. Can you
My brain is always like,
she's like, hey guys, I got this idea, click, click, click. And we're like, we go like hours without responding. And she's behind us, so she's texting us like 1 a.m., midnight. And we're like, girl, have you slept?
Yes. Like I slept for 20
her
seconds.
brain's moving. Tree, what's your sign?
I'm a Libra.
That's my son is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He also is all over the place. So you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all over the place. And then I'm like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, okay, what time is it there? Okay, they're probably sleeping. I'm just waiting. And I'll just keep writing. Okay, I have this idea. It's a mess too. It's a mess.
But it's your mess.
Perfect.
And you understand
Yes.
it. That's good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Exactly.
I have a weird question. How did you how would one get into like writing songs for other artists and stuff like that?
That's a good question. So for me, a little bit of his nepotism because my brother.
Right.
So my brother, who was signed to Sony and DreamWorks, he had the connections of people. So I didn't get like the professional connections, but I would show up at studios. I was very persistent. Like I've been doing demos in studios forever. Like you write a song, Tree writes a song, let's say, and she can't sing. I don't know if you can sing, Tree, but if you wrote a song and you needed someone to sing it because you wanted to sell it to Mary J. Blige, I was the person that would come in, had no writing credit, I would sing and keep it moving. What I would do is, as I went on, I would be like, oh, maybe you should add this word. And sometimes it would get me fired, like you're not supposed to have any input. Then other times they would be like, okay, we'll add the word, you get credit. Because if you're in the room when a song is written, you get some credit. That's pretty much how it started. And about 9 years ago, I got my first TV placement. I'll roll my eyes, but it was for the Kardashians, one of their episodes.
Really?
And then I got like Law and Order CI when that was around. So it went for me, like, I still wrote for artists again because I was in the studio, but because I was in the studio, I also got in on songs for movies, and shows. So I think right place, right time. I'm very persistent, but a little bit of help, obviously, from my brother. So if there's people that were listening that were like, well, I don't have a brother that sings. My thing is hanging out in studios and shopping your songs around. Like, there's all these sites. I'm signed to this thing called Crucial. Crucial is like a bank of songs, okay? It is listed by category, like whether it's spiritual or sad or suicidal, whatever it indicates. When people that have TV shows are looking for songs, I'm already placed. They go through it. They might find mine and go, boom, we use that. I didn't get picked for that. I didn't get picked, hold on, I'm trying to think if I'm signed to Crucial. I don't want to say the wrong things. I didn't get signed to Crucial. Initially, I paid a fee, so anybody can do it. Right now, because I've been doing it for so long, yes, I'm in like a different caliber, but anybody off the street, as my dad would say, could write music and have it banked, and then people could come and pick it up when it comes for TV and film.
So does it have to be like, do you have to be able to play, or you can just write the lyrics?
So that's a great question. You do need to have a full song. So my thing was always finding producers that could make tracks. You know, and like I thankfully lived most of my life not paying for tracks because I'd be like, let's split it 50-50. If we can sell it to somebody, cool. If we can't, I'll put it out. You make 50 of it, I make 50 of it. But that's what you do. You just try to kick it with somebody that has the tracks. You write it, you record it. Selling songs, I think, to like local people is very easy, and I don't think people realize that. Like, people, writing music is hard, but there's a certain percentage of people that don't want to do it. They just want to sing, you know, like take the hard part out. And I think everyone thinks we live in this world where everyone needs control of their own. No, they don't. I write hooks for rappers, like from the street rappers that I'm writing about the kilo they sold. You know, I'm writing the hook, and I'm like, you rap it. And they're doing it because it's like, if they give me the verse, I can write the hook in 2 seconds. You know, and when I was younger, I charged like $50. Now I can charge a lot of money for it because I can use my avenues to promote it. But people writing for music and musicians, there's so much money in it. I'm not there yet where I'm like retiring, but there's so much money, so much more money to be made as a writer than there is as a performer. Easily, hands down.
Wow. You're like educating me right now. I like this. But it's like, I don't even know how you got started. Like, how do you get to this point where people would want your music? How did you network? How did you, you know, like, how did you find these people to want you to write for them or sing for them and stuff like that?
I was out on the scene a lot in Boston and New York in my 20s. And I was in people's faces and I was singing at events. And it wasn't always that people wanted me to write at first. It really started with singing, and it was rappers and hooks. So like, they'd hear me, they didn't really care what I was singing. They were just like, oh, you got a cool voice, come sing on my hook.
Okay.
I would sing on anybody. Like, there's a rapper named Millies. He's from Boston, white boy, fully tatted. He finally is more tatted than me. I always make fun of him. He's doing great right now. He used to hire me to sing hooks, like, I don't know, maybe like 10 a year. And he'd have like his whole crew, and then they'd be like, oh, he'd be like, Johnny B wants you to sing it too. And while I was in there, I would just sit next to engineers and be like, hey, if anyone else comes in next week that I don't know, if you need a singer, let me know. That was like my ground up work, right? That was like my little inch in it. Then I was just on the scene performing in these different states, and I would be invited to writing sessions. There are so many, like, I don't want to call them secret, but they're kind of like secret jams that writers do. Whether they're like super famous or low key, where they just sit in a room and they all just write, and someone plays guitar like a kumbaya, and sometimes it's horrible, and sometimes it's like a moment where you feel like you're on mushrooms and you want to relive the moment every day. But from that, usually we'd exchange numbers and we formed crews, and like, I think there's less organic work happening because of the internet, because of TikTok and stuff like that.
Right.
Because you don't have to go out to meet people. But my album Overnight Shift was written with me and a TikTok producer from Florida. I still never met him. That whole album was done over voice memos. I've never talked to him on the phone. We only did voice memos and texts. and then the album came out. Like, I never could have done that back in the day. I would have had to travel to Florida to find him randomly in a spot. So I still think the idea of doing the legwork, even if it's a digital footprint, it has to happen. Like, people will come on, they'll be like, I put this song up, nobody's listened to it. And I'm like, have you sent it to people? You know what I mean? Like, have you performed it in rooms? People will be like, I have no opportunity. And I'll like look up their state. I'm like, okay, Louisiana has an open mic at such and such every week. You know what I mean? Have you sung it? Because although I know I've had help in some instances, I'm also a woman that was trying to do this in a time where like dudes would be like, take your clothes off or you can't do the song. You know what I mean? So like, we're in a world of cancel culture. So I'm like, there's no reason you can't get on a microphone so 5 more people hear your song, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you seem so confident and stuff. Do you ever get nervous? Like, I would be so nervous, like, with these opportunities. I feel like I don't know if I can do it.
You know what I get nervous at is, I get nervous to sing in front of, like, an intimate group of people. That freaks me out. Like, you put me on, I did the Celtics. It was like 50,000 people. I'm like, but then I have a show for So Far, and it's like 20, and I'm like, because it's so quiet, and I'm just like, everyone can see every single move of you. Like, I will be honest, that's when I very much get nervous. Like, but I no longer, I don't know, I think as we get older as women, we also are just like, we get tired and we're like, fuck it, this is right. And so now when I enter rooms where there's like famous per se people, you know, like I was in a room with John Legend like 5-6 years ago, right? Before I met him, I thought I was gonna be like on the floor shaking. And the more I hung out with some of my friends that were like, remember, Lisa, you are a regular person, they are a regular person.
Right.
They happen to have a lot of money and fame, you don't. But you're regular people. Then once I took that on, I was like dapping him up and I'm like, nothing's gonna change from this. Like, you may walk away and never remember me. I'll remember this moment as me not being like, it was more like me being like, yo, I'm a singer-songwriter too. And he was so nice. And he was like, that's so cool. Like, you could maybe do this or this. And I'm like, that's why I try to always go into situations remembering that we're all on the same level. Like, there's no power imbalance, except unless I'm in a room with men that I know don't respect me, then I'm like, I'm running shit. I have the power.
Right.
Other than that, we're all on an equal level. And I think it takes so many years to have that, because I used to be mad. I used to cry when I would leave meetings. I'd be tough in them and I'd cry. You know, like in my car for 4-hour drive to Boston.
Okay, my last question. I read somewhere that you are possibly an American Idol. Is that true? And were you offered like to be in a all-girl pop group?
She's so cute.
Is that true?
I like this. I did do American Idol a couple times. I made it to the top 100, which was cool. I don't think it was that big of a deal back then, but looking back and I'm like, there were a lot of people. That was pretty cool. The only reason I didn't make it past the top 100 is because I didn't want to share or divulge like a sad enough story. Like, they were digging. Like, they were just like, you know. And I have plenty of things in my past, but like, I didn't realize back then, because it was early on in the show, like maybe it was like the 5th or 6th year, that that's really what the goal was. So that was on me. I could have told a lot of things and probably made the top 50, but once you're there, you're locked in, like, to contracts with them, and you can't do anything else. So I am glad that I didn't do it. People get locked in for like 4 or 5 years. The girl group, I've been offered to be in 3 different girl groups. One was when I was in college, and they told me I needed to lose weight. And when I tell you, I was like the most muscular softball player. Like, I was diesel. Like, I wish I was that person now. Like, my arms, I was so buck, and they were like, you need to like feminize more. And I was like, fuck this. Like, even my dad was like, he's in the meeting with me, he's like this. My mom's like, and my dad, like, we're out, we're not doing this. No.
Right.
In the next 2 groups that I was in, to be very honest with you, I didn't feel like the girls could sing. They were beautiful. I would have been the voice. I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do this. Like, yeah, I want real singers. Like, they could dance their asses off. But I even tried out for the Pussycat Dolls. That was funny. Never again.
No.
No?
Never again.
All right. Well, Lisa, we took enough time out of your day, out of your nights. I know you want to spend time with your baby and relax and just chill and get some rest, but we really, really appreciate you coming through and just sharing all these gems and knowledge. I feel like I've went into like a seminar and I just got all these things, but it's like cool. I feel like I'm just sitting down chilling with, like a friend, and we're just talking, we're chatting. It's not like a forced conversation, so I really, really appreciate this. And if I can ask, if you can just sing a little song for us, if you don't mind, whatever comes to your minds.
Whatever comes to mind, oh my God. Do you hear my voice? It's so bad right now. You want my own song, or you don't care, whatever?
Whatever you want to do, whatever you have in your heart to.
Because if I start singing Baby Shark, that's going to be a problem.
Okay, what about Kill Bill? Just like the first part.
Why you always worry about him when he ain't worried about you? What's the next line? Now you done fucked up and lost your friends, messing around with that fool. He lied and he cheated and then he repeated, and you keep hanging on. You nipped and you tucked and you stopped while he fucked, and you keep hanging on. Damn, I really said all that.
Love it.
Yeah, I love you so much. Thank you.
But I picked the graphic one. Thank you guys for making this so comfortable and easy. I like to do stuff like this all day, so I appreciate the warmth, the women, the energy.
Thank you.
We hope to have you on later when you have more and more things to share.
Yeah.
You have taught me a lot,
so many
so.
questions. And I literally, I'm like wanting to DM her like she's my cousin. Like, hey, cousin, what's good?
CC Keisha.
Yes,
CC
I
Keisha,
am
there
going
you go.
to CC Keisha.
Yes. So thank you, Lisa
Thank
Bello.
you so much.
You taught me so much today, and my mind is like now, maybe we can.
Oh
do
no,
this.
here we go.
I know. So no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, hit me anytime the DMs are open for women, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a safe night. Thank you for having
You
me.
too.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you can know when our latest episode comes up. We love y'all. Bye.